Apparently, Usain Bolt might have lost millions of dollars from his accounts. Finance chiefs in Jamaica investigate a multi-million dollar discrepancy at the investment management firm of the former world's fastest man who once raked in 27 million euros per year, which is basically over $30 million. Like, this is crazy. A company which handles investments for sprinting legend Usain Bolt is now under investigation after reports that he may have lost millions of pounds to fraud. Bolt is believed to have a net worth in the region of 70 million euros after a career which has seen him widely regarded as one of the greatest sportsmen of all time. In his prime, he was making tens of millions a year, with Forbes revealing he had netted over 25 million euros in the 12 months prior to his final Olympics in 2016. Now, here's the thing that I want to mention about this. Anytime you get money, regardless of the size, the only person that is going to care more about your money is you, no one else. No one cares more about your money than you do. So when you put your money into these big companies, don't expect that they have your best interest at heart when all they're really thinking, we might be able to make 1%, 2%, maybe even more off of this account. So just keep that in mind. So, financial authorities in Jamaica have now said they are investigating allegations of fraud at Stocks and Securities Ltd., a private wealth management company based in the capital of Kingston, Jamaica. In a report in the Jamaica Gleaner, Bolt's manager, Nugent Walker, was quoted as saying that Bolt has invested with the company for more than a decade and that his entire portfolio is being reviewed after he noticed discrepancies in his account. Jamaica's Financial Services Commission, FSC, has now placed the firm in enhanced oversight following the allegations. Now, what's even interesting, right? Maybe this is actually going to show that perhaps that the whole financial institution is a scam. You don't know. We don't know. It's just, here's the thing that people need to understand. You could pretty much put your money into real estate that you physically own, that you could put money into the stock market in the form of index funds like the S&P 500. You could put money into treasuries of the government, depending on what government you have, get a guaranteed percentage return from those bonds with the governments, right? You could put your money into mutual funds, but pretty much you could put something like your money into something, for an example, like the S&P 500, like SPY or whatever other options there are, and have your money compound on itself without really too much oversight, without paying percentage points on that entire portfolio. But obviously, you should check it out, make sure that your money's in a somewhat reputable stock brokerage or whatever. But still, at the same time, it's like I wouldn't want to put the majority of my wealth into a private wealth management company because you're basically paying someone a good amount of money for them to pretty much have you not lose money. Like, it's just a really weird concept. So the Gleaner report claims that millions of dollars were missing from the account. The FSC said it was aware of reports of allegations of fraud and that the oversight process would allow it to monitor the movement of funds and securities into and out of the investment trust. The FSC will cite simultaneously continuous investigation into matters related to SSL, it added. And SSL have intimidated that a former employee was behind the alleged fraud and added it had referred the matter to the relevant law enforcement authorities. Well, this is the thing. If an employee, a former employee, committed fraud and stole millions of dollars from Usain Bolt, guess who is pretty much at fault for that? The SSL. Not that, well, I mean, the former employee is still going to be at fault as well, but the SSL is still going to be held responsible, or should be held responsible. Interesting. Let's see some of these comments. Best rated. Always remember, as hard as you're working to make big money, some people are working even harder to separate you from it. I agree. Why these people let other clowns manage their entire wealth is completely beyond me. You're much better getting financial advice and spreading investments over several very safe returns. The amount of times you read about sportsmen losing their entire worth is staggering. Surely 6% return on 50 mil every single year is better than risking the lot. This person says, you're absolutely right. I can never understand why they don't get financial advisors. Let's see. Who advised them to invest with a Jamaican firm? Seriously. Jamaica drug capital would be the last place I'd invest in. Looks like the company has done a runner. So have I read it correctly that he's put all his money in one finance company for them to invest in Jamaica? He might be a brilliant runner, but clearly not brilliant with all of his dosh. There is your first mistake. A Jamaican investment management firm. Name one Jamaican company that is successful. Exactly. Let's see. This one says, never allow others to handle your cash. The greedy will always crawl out of the word work. I agree with that one. Like, this is the thing. Like, I mentioned this earlier on. No one is going to care about your wealth, your money, more than you will, right? So be very careful where you put your money. Like, if, for example, if you're wanting like a savings account, don't put your money into a bank that does not have insurance that protects you to a certain extent, right? Or, for example, if there is a specific bank company that constantly has numerous articles about the amount of fraud that they commit against their customers, maybe you shouldn't be doing business with that company, cough, cough, Wells Fargo, right? Like, I would never put money into Wells Fargo because the amount of crap that they do to their customers is beyond insane. Beyond insane. They literally created fake accounts of like duplicating their customers' accounts. Like, it's disgusting. So that's the thing. Do a little research as to where you put your money into. Make sure that they have some form of insurance that has some protection for you. Make sure their brokerage accounts aren't like dissolvent or something. Like, I mean, maybe you don't even have to go that far, but basically, if they've been operating for probably a few decades or a decade or whatever and has insurance, you could probably somewhat trust them. But even so, it's like there is a risk with everything. Like, even if you were to put your money into the bank, there's a risk with that because one, you're not getting a return on that, and then two, you're only protected, like in the United States, you're only protected up to $250,000 per like establishment, right? So if you got like $1 million, you're kind of screwed in that sense unless you split it to four different banks, right? Which you could do. It's just kind of interesting. Yeah. But I wouldn't go down his route. Like, if you have a large amount of money, don't put all of your money into one singular financial institution because if something goes wrong and you need access to quick cash, you're kind of in a big issue.